Well, April, welcome to Boom Roasted. So we're sitting in your house.
Yes.
And we're having a cup of coffee. And you are drinking black coffee, which is weird. But
Yes.
Okay. I stopped at Starbucks on the way and got a Bell Rinker shot in the dark, which is just really coffee with a shot of espresso, a tiny bit of creamer, and a little bit of sweet. But I need it strong. Actually, I could have done with a double shot. It's not quite dark enough for me. But I couldn't have drunk it black. I needed some cream and a little sweet in it. So, and this is my second cup. So I already had one cup today.
This is my third.
This is your third? Okay, but it is black. It is black. But I did say you had some good choices in your kitchen of coffee. So you do like quality coffee. There was no Folders or Maxwell House in there. So I'll give you kudos for that, even though you're drinking it black. So thank you for having coffee with me today.
Thank you for having me. Well, COVID took my taste buds for creamer, so it like makes me nauseated, so that's why I went black.
All dairy?
Not because I don't want it.
Okay, so you're not just like living the healthy lifestyle, because I know health is important to you.
Yes.
But it is more about COVID kind of took that away from you.
Yes.
Okay. But you still appreciate the caffeine?
I do.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, that's a good roast there.
Yeah.
I can handle that.
Yeah.
So April is one of my ride or dies. So I already had an interview with Tina. So this is our trio that talk on the daily. And but me and you have known each other way longer than me and Tina. So we were figuring that up, and we think it's about 39 years.
Yes, it's a long time.
That's a long time.
But I thank you so much for being at my mess with me.
Same, girl. I really don't know how we I mean, I know how we found each other, but our personalities are so different.
So different.
But somehow you have tolerated my bigness, and I've been able to still be a part of your softness, and we just balance each other okay. So our story is a pretty fun one. We met in the 4th grade at Out the School, the smallest town in America. And I, of course, had been going there since kindergarten, and had already established my friend group and had a best friend named Beth since kindergarten. And who was our teacher? Miss Whitehead. And she had told my best friend to be your like guide. Yeah. And I didn't like it because she was my best friend. And I was afraid she was going to take, you were going to take my best friend from me. And so I probably wasn't very nice to you in the beginning. And I didn't like you very much because of that. But then we became close, and we were really good friends. And then you left us for a little bit of time and came back.
Yeah.
And we have been friends ever since.
Yeah.
So we've been through a lot of life together. We had babies about the same time.
Yeah.
And we've been married about the same time, because you've been married how long?
25 years this year.
25 years this year for us too.
Yep.
With a bump. We call it 25 years with a bump because,
That's
we
right.
had some things happen. And
we had a lot of bumps.
We had a little extended bump, but that's okay. Jesus has lots of grace for our bumps. But we have rock and rolled through this journey with Jesus together. And over probably the last 10 years, we've gotten, even though we don't even live in the same state, we actually have gotten closer, I think, not living in the same state.
Yes.
And so we kind of connect with each other through a text group and pray and encourage. And I definitely think like your gift is encouragement and exhortation. You're the one, like Tina's the one that tells me to back up and shut up. And you're the one that I can find balance with. Like I can call and be like, ah, you're like, okay. And you can just like help me find the middle, and so I appreciate that a lot about you. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
And thank you for being like that person that brings the peace to the situation. I don't know if you know that about yourself, but you are. You are the person that brings the peace in the room, because me and Tina both are kind of wild. You know that. Why do you get drawn to wild people?
You're the best wild ever. Y'all bring out the wild in me.
Oh, okay. Is that what it is? Okay, good. I'm glad that's what.
Actually, y'all keep me from people pleasing.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, talk to me about that. So that's kind of something you struggle with. I don't typically. I have a couple times in my life, but normally that is not my role. People pleasing is not anything that's really been a problem for me. But for you, people pleasing has kind of been an issue.
Yeah.
So what has that been like, and why do you think that was been something you've been so easily like fallen into?
Well, I don't know. I've just always been one that wants to serve and fix. And I don't think it ever started out as people pleasing, but it eventually transitioned into people pleasing. So like wanting to serve people and then getting that gratification after serving, that thank you, or that, you know, sometimes you don't get a thank you, but sometimes it's just like, oh, I helped that person. And that, you know, that it's just like wanting followers, you know, like with your social media.
Yeah.
Like you get that one follower and, ooh, let me do a little bit more. Ooh, let me do a little bit more. And then you get past that point and no longer have boundaries. And I'm still working on the boundary thing, because I think sometimes we carry the boundary a little too far.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like we literally cut people off, and we are just rude to people because we're so stuck on that boundary. But yet we can't be the people pleaser either.
Right.
In a sense.
Yeah.
Like you can love people and you can serve people. And if you can fix a situation, absolutely.
Yeah, blessed are the peacemakers. Yeah. Like we're supposed to strive for that.
Exactly. But the heart behind it, the need for accolades and stuff like that creates it to be a people-pleasing scenario.
Right. And a fixer. Like, and I think that's probably for you. Yeah. Like you want to fix things, you want to make things better. And you know, you know where you've came from and the struggles that you have. Like you came from like poverty, like you struggled a lot, like in your home growing up, even though you had a safe home, like there was a lot of struggles there. And then now you don't. And like, so like you feel like maybe you have a responsibility. That's what Satan is kind of like, now you've got a responsibility, so you should. And now people have taken advantage of that. And so, and it's made it even harder, I'm sure, to want to feel like you have that responsibility to fix it because of that.
Well, see a need, meet a need.
Yeah.
See a need, meet a need. It's what the church says. Yeah. And it is what Jesus says.
Yeah.
But you care, it's the heart behind it.
Right.
Like it's that I did this on my own. I did this to help you.
Yeah.
And not, this is Jesus.
Right.
You know, so it's the heart behind it that creates the need to please people other than God. And sometimes we say a lot of yeses and we miss the really great yes.
That's true. Well, it makes me think of what John Bevere said in his book, Good or God.
Yeah.
You know, slowing it down enough to ask instead of being so quick just because I can. Yes, I have the money in the bank account.
Yeah.
But is it God?
Yeah.
It's good to help people. Yes. But is it God? Is God telling me to? Right. Or is he actually calling someone else to? Or is he wanting to create a miracle in the situation for this person? He has a whole nother plan that we're getting in the way of.
Yeah. Or does he want this person to do it themselves?
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Or is it, like you said, is it a distraction to you? And you're going to miss the whole other thing that God's trying to get you to do here.
Yeah.
And so just being able to slow that down and trying to figure it out before you just jump in.
Yeah.
So, and then like learning, like you and I were talking the other day, because you were considering doing like a clothes closet, which our ministry has a type of one. And you have to learn, like with serving people too, because as good as it is to help people, you have to learn that everybody's emergency is not your emergency.
Yes.
And so that's really hard for people who want to serve. And it's also, if you don't learn that early on, you can get so burnt out. And that's not the will of God. You know, you want to say soft. You want to say soft toward people. You want to say soft toward the hurting and the people that are truly in need. But you also have to learn how to hear when God is calling us to help and whenever we're being taken advantage of. And we can only do that if we slow it down and we discern that.
Yeah. Burnout is people pleasing.
Agreed.
As long as you're in the flow of Jesus, God, Holy Spirit, you're not going to get burned out because you're not self.
Yeah.
You're him minded. But it's so easy to ease on into that self and forget that he's the one who's leading.
Yeah. And I think it's a place of rest too, don't you think?
Yeah.
Like being able to rest, and you're just in this restful kind of peaceful place when you're doing it God's way.
Yeah.
It feels, when you start like doing it your way, it starts feeling anxious.
Yes.
You know, you start feeling like just this fast pace.
Taken advantage of.
Yeah.
I hear that all the time. I've heard it all my life. People are taking advantage of you. Well, let them.
Yeah.
Let them.
Yeah.
That's not on me.
Right.
God told me to do this, and I'm going to do it.
Right. Yeah. If I'm
All
hearing
my
from the
life.
Lord, it's about obedience for
Yeah,
me.
I don't care what is happening. It's even like with the homeless people.
Mm.
People are like, they're on that corner every time. Well, if the Lord told me to give them $20, I'm giving them $20. I don't care what they're going to do with it.
Right.
That's on them. That's not
Right.
on me.
Mm-hmm. We hear that a lot too. And even like, you've been on a mission trip with us, and you hear a lot from Americans like, why would you go to another,
Yeah,
country when there's so many needs here? Or why would you feed a person one day when you know they're going to be hungry the next? And so, as a believer, though, it's so much bigger than that.
it is.
Yes, the Lord cares about us feeding them that one day, by the way.
Yes.
But it's about like when the Lord fed the 5,000, did he feed them the next day? We don't think so. There's no proof that he
No.
did, but he fed them so they would hear the gospel. And oftentimes when we're meeting practical needs, it's for them to be able to hear the gospel.
Yeah.
Because when people know you care about the practical, they want to know why.
Yeah.
And so, like, I think that's what people miss when they're so hung up on why would you do that? And why would you do this? And honestly, I find out most of the time when people are like questioning that, they're not doing anything anyway. It's one
No.
of those things like we talked about before. They just want to quarrel for quarrel's sake.
Exactly.
And so I try not to get lost in that and hung up on it, and definitely not jaded by it.
No.
But, and I usually just try to flip it around and say, okay, what are you doing? And to try to pull them in, and it usually silences it.
Yeah.
But I think overall, just like understanding that when God calls us in that moment to say yes to something, like giving $20 to the homeless, feeding a person in another country one day, whatever that is, when we say yes to that, we're saying yes to the gospel.
Absolutely.
So because we've said yes to it for, we've been going to Trinidad now for, I think this year will be our 13th year. We've said yes to that, and we have now fed people for 13 years this year, and we have been able to spread the gospel.
Right.
We've been able to sit down with people, hear their stories, been able to go to the hospital, and now they invite us into their homes. It builds these relationships because they know you care.
Yeah.
And they want to know why you care.
Yeah.
And so once that happens, it changes everything.
Everything.
Yeah. So that's what people, I think, miss when they get so hung up on these little things. And really, like you said, it's about the heart.
It is.
Because they're missing out on it because their heart is hardened.
Yeah.
And so they want your heart to be hardened with them.
I know. And there was a time where I was going toward that direction, and I just kept reading all the things on boundaries, and just the Lord just kept in my heart like, this is not you. This is not who I designed you to be.
Mm-hmm.
He let the travelers come in. He let the sinful come in. Like, he let the mess of the mess come in, and never had a boundary.
Yeah.
Like, he had an appointed time for the woman at the well.
Mm-hmm.
The disciples came and were like, you got off playing.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is my appointed time. I needed to meet her. But they viewed her as unworthy of that meet and greet.
Mm-hmm.
But her life was completely changed, and so was the whole village.
Yeah.
In that moment.
And he revealed himself to her first.
Absolutely.
She was the first one he revealed himself to.
No, she was a woman.
And she was a woman.
He shouldn't even been talking to
and
her.
A Samaritan.
And a Samaritan.
Yeah.
But yet we're like, they stole money from me. I'm never talking to them again. Like, who cares?
That's my boundary.
That's my boundary. No, that's your wall.
Yeah.
And that's your offense. And it's a choice.
Right.
To take offense.
Yeah.
And in the word it says,
yeah,
that you're more blessed if you don't take offense. Like,
that's exactly right.
Dust your feet off.
Yeah.
And keep going. Keep doing the gospel.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter what other people say.
Right.
And that's a hard one for me because of the people-pleasing aspect.
Mm-hmm.
The people-pleasing aspect wants people to like you.
Yeah.
Like, you want people to like you. Well, you can't please everybody.
No.
And that was the best lesson I ever learned in my whole entire life.
Mm.
Was you can't please everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You do the God and let him take care of the rest, and just trust the process.
Yeah.
We've had to change churches a couple of times in the last 10 years. And my heart wasn't ready for all that. Like
Mm.
I grew up in church.
Mm-hmm.
I seen the people leave, and I seen the offenses of people, and I did not want to leave offended.
Mm-hmm.
And so he had to work with me through that
Right.
thing. And it wasn't even offense. It was offense because we had to leave.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to leave
Mm-hmm.
because I knew what it did
Right.
in
Because
the
you've seen
wake
the
of
other side of it.
I've seen the
Yeah.
other side of it being a pastor's kid,
Mm-hmm.
and but it's been so good for me to say, I'm going to be submissive to my husband.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to follow him wherever he goes.
Yeah.
Because I made that commitment to him a long time ago,
Mm-hmm.
that wherever he went, I would go with him.
Right. Right.
Because I said I do. And that's in sickness and health. Whatever decision he makes in
Mm-hmm.
our life, we have to follow it.
Yeah.
But the people pleasing in me is like, these people aren't going to like me no more because we're leaving that church. And but it's not true. Like,
Yeah.
if you are a part of a church, we're still family, whether
Yeah.
we go to that same building or not.
Right. Because it's the family of God,
It's the
not the
family of God.
church of God.
Exactly.
It's supposed to be
It is
anyway.
supposed
And
to
if
be.
people don't get on board with that, that's between them and the Lord and not
Exactly.
you. That's a them problem, not a you problem.
That goes back to, you cannot please everybody.
Right.
You have to trust what God is doing
Exactly.
and be okay with not everybody liking you.
Right.
Not everybody sticking in the mess with
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. I know there was a story, it's been years ago. I had this young woman that I was mentoring, and we were going to a church that we were getting ready to move, and we were probably moving about 6 months after that. But this young woman that I was mentoring was growing and felt called to go to another church. And I said, well, I met with her and I said, tell me why, and she was like, well, I just feel like I've grown as much as I can here, and this church has a really good discipleship program. I'm not leaving here because I'm angry with anyone. I'm not offended by anything. I just feel like that this church can take me to that next place I want to go. And she had been a recovering addict, and she had come out of addiction and a lot with her children, and just felt like it was a really good place to get that new beginning. And I said, well, I want you to pray about it. If you feel that release, just go ahead and go. If you feel like it's time for that, I support you. And so she did. She went. And I seen a lot of growth in her when she went. She left with a really good attitude. She left with kindness and gratitude toward what this church and how this church had supported her when she first came out of addiction. And but then this church, these people from the church started calling me and asking me, like, why did she leave? And what happened? And I was like, call her.
Yeah.
Like, she loves you guys. Like, why are you calling me? She's doing great. She's healthy. She's still going to church. Her children are doing well. Like, I support her.
Yeah.
And so it's just where she needs to be right now to continue growing. And they were really offended by it. But she has since then done amazing. And it was the right decision for her. And I hate that they couldn't see that it was the kingdom of God and it was
Yeah.
the family of
We're
God
still
and not about
family.
a church.
Yeah.
Because for me, that's what it was about. And I'd seen her heart. I asked her to, check her heart,
Yeah.
leave well, and she did.
Even when you leave well, there's still that. I've seen it. I mean, I
Yeah.
grew up in it. I've seen it all the time. But we can't, when someone leaves, we can't take offense to that. Like,
Right.
it could be simply that their children are not doing well in the children's group,
Right.
and there's a burden on the heart, on the mother or the father, to do something differently,
Yeah.
for their children. Like, they need a firmer foundation or more of a community.
Yeah.
Like, they're not getting plugged in, so they want
Mm-hmm.
their children to get plugged in. It has nothing to do with people.
Yeah.
It's just that that's that's what God's called them to do,
Right.
to get their kids plugged in so that they can continue the path of the gospel.
Exactly. And what if getting in the way of that got in the way of the path of Christ, like what God's plan is for them? And so, like, we can't know that.
No.
Only they can know that. And so we have to trust that if you really have raised them up in Christ and been a part of that process, that they're hearing from God too, like
Right.
like we do as parents. I mean, me and you
Right.
have grown children.
Yeah.
We raise them to know the voice of God, and it's hard when they first step out and start saying, "I heard the Lord say,"
Yeah.
but we have to start trusting that they really heard the Lord
Yeah.
and that the Lord was leading them in another place. And sometimes it's away from us,
Yeah.
and that's difficult, but we have to release them so that they can pursue the call of God on their lives,
Yeah.
and not get in the way of that. And I think that's the key. And not, I don't want my kids to want to please me. I want them to want to please God.
Exactly.
And I want the same thing for my spiritual children, because I have a lot of people that I've mentored and children that I've mentored, and I want them to feel the same way, that they don't have to please me.
And they're not supposed to be with you forever.
No, they're not.
Like it's a season.
Yeah.
Like people are in our lives for a season as much as it stinks.
Yes.
And as much as you have to let it go
Yeah.
and let them spread their wings and fly.
Right.
It's hard. It's hard. And when you're a people pleaser, it's that much harder.
Yeah.
Because you know that there's some backlash coming, and you don't want that. You just want the peace.
Well, and for you, you're such a mother. You're a nurturer and a mother. I am too. I feel like I really am a mom, but I'm more like the mama bear. Like I'm fight. I am all fight. But you are that sweet nurturer, and so I think that when you're a true mama, it can be harder.
Yeah.
Sometimes to
Definitely.
release. But whenever we know that that's the way the Lord did it, he taught us, and Scripture says that we release them. He puts those in our quiver, but arrows are meant to be let go. And we have to let that go. And I know now you're in a season like with your grandbabies.
Yeah.
And so I just want to hear a little bit more about what your season is and what you're doing, even the ministry at the gym. Share with me about what that looks like for you right now.
Well, right now I'm helping my kids with the grands, which a lot of people will say babysitting, but to me it's
ministry.
It's ministry.
It is.
Like it is a true treasure, and it's not me ministering to my grands. My grands minister to me every day. Like they teach me things and every day about the love of God and what He has for us. The kids will never get offended, and you'll get on to them because they need discipline. But they forget, and they just come back and they just are loving on you like nothing ever happened.
Yeah.
And I believe that's God's design for us.
That's beautiful.
As His people. It's, yes, things sting, but still wrap each other up with love.
Just still, so full of grace, aren't they?
Oh my goodness, so much grace. And they don't care about my mess. Like, I mean, sometimes I get messy.
Yeah.
I get in my feelings. I get tired physically. I've always felt like a fatigue. I mean, I could sleep anywhere. My dad would say I would sleep standing up. But that fatigue creates an ugly mess in me. Like I just get tired and I want to isolate. And the grands just pull me out of that. Like I don't have any choice.
Yeah.
Like you're getting out of this. Like Bubby climbed up on the tree. It's time. Get up. Like you don't get to sit here no more. Get up. Get out of your mess. And I just love that about them. Like they're just like the other day Bubby was riding his little motorized tractor, and he went up on a hill and he wasn't paying attention, and he rolled that hill with the tractor laying right on top of him, and something in me just like jumped off the golf cart and ran to him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've ran marathons, but running like that, I haven't run like that.
Yeah.
Like
that's the mama run.
Oh, that's the mama run. That's like I'm coming to save you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'd stop right before I got to him because my heart was racing because I was so fearful that he had hurt his head or his neck. And I'm like, okay, you cannot act afraid in front of him. Like you have to make sure that he's okay, but your fear is going to trigger a fear in him. And so I had to like reset myself and be like, you okay? Like, let's get this off. Okay, let's dust it off. Let's get up. No. And we should do that in life. Like, I don't know. Like when something hurts us, we just get in our pit.
Yeah.
And we just
want to sit
stay there, and we just want to grumble and complain. And all the things we shouldn't be doing,
and be a victim to it.
be a victim to it,
Yeah. And
and
get re-victimized by it.
every day.
Even if it's valid.
Yeah.
We were hurt and it was absolutely valid. Like, we re-victimize ourselves by staying in it
every day.
and just rethinking it.
Sometimes every second of the
Oh
day.
yeah.
Like, we just sit
Just
there and
owns
just
our thoughts.
do the story, and then we create a bigger story than it actually was.
Yeah. And invite other people into
Yes.
it. And want other people to be mad with us.
And then they need people like Stephanie that says,
you better
get out of it. But with that, we started the gym, and in my mind, my plan was I was going to be at the gym all day, every day.
Mm-hmm.
And having the grands, it's like, I can't do that. Like,
Yeah.
it's not fair to them to be there all day, every day.
Yeah.
So I've kind of had to let that go, where it kind of trucks on its own,
Mm-hmm.
but keep my eye on it.
Yeah.
In the same sense. And again, you get into the little pit where you're like, is this really what you call me to do? Like,
yeah.
Did you call me to have this gym?
Mm-hmm.
And yes, he did.
Yeah.
He called me to be a grandmother, a stay-at-home grandmother as well.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do both of those things.
You can.
You don't have to do just one.
Mm-hmm.
And so there have been days where I'm just like, I'm done. I'm done with the gym.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm going to give it up. I'm just going to do my workouts here at the home, and I'm done.
Yeah.
And then something comes along, and the Lord just is like, I told you, this is part of it.
Yeah.
But we're so used to the easy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we just want to coast in life and not have the hard.
Yeah.
Not have we want to sit on the couch, and we don't want to have to get up off the couch.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily in that sense, but in our lives, that's the way we are. We want to be easy. We don't want to have to do the extra.
Right.
But he's called us to the extra.
He has.
I just read it in 1 Thessalonians this morning, 4:1-12. And Paul is getting the Thessalonians. They were doing good, but he said, do more.
Mm-hmm.
Do more and more and more.
Mm-hmm.
He did that twice. He said that twice.
Mm.
So we're called to the extra.
Well, I think about, I've said this a couple of times when I've preached before too, like, it's a testament to us as people when COVID happened, and what's the first thing we ran out of? And it was toilet paper.
Uh-huh.
When we got into a crisis as a nation, we didn't run out of food. We didn't run out of batteries. We didn't run out of necessities. We ran out of toilet paper, out of Charmin, girl.
Yeah.
Like, so we were afraid we wouldn't have the soft stuff to wipe our butts when it came down to it. It's like, that says so much about us, that whenever it meets the road, that's what we're afraid of.
Yeah.
And so, and as a people, like as believers, I mean, the first thing we do, even when we come into the church and being on pastoral staff, I mean, we hear all manner of things why people don't come back to church. It can be about the temperature. It can be about the comfort of the seats, about the how loud or how not loud the music is. It can be about the children's ministry or the youth ministry, what they think it should be or shouldn't be, but they don't want to serve. It can be about how hot the coffee is or there wasn't enough. Like, it's almost always about a comfort.
Yeah.
And it says a lot about us. And because the comforts don't ever bring the best out of us.
It does not.
It is always the hard things. And that's why, like in the book of Job, when it talks about that temperature, when he says that he knows the way that we take, it says that he heats it up so that he can get those impurities out of us. Yes. That's what makes pure gold, is that heat. Well, heat doesn't feel good.
No.
And it brings out bad stuff. Like when we went to Trinidad, girl, when it started getting hot, people started getting edgy. And I talked to you guys so much about, hey, get ready. You guys are going to get hot. You're going to get sweaty. You're going to get irritable. Stay hydrated. Wear cool clothes, like trying to prepare yourself, because you are not going to be able to minister well if you're hungry, if you're not, hydrated. Like, you're going to have to prepare yourself to be able to still minister when you're uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And that's where you're going to really know what you're capable of, because if you're not full when those hard times come and when you're uncomfortable, bad stuff comes out.
Absolutely.
And it's the same thing with our relationships with each other. If we're not full of Jesus when those times hit, and that's why people burn out, and we're not full of Christ. And it's the same conversation my son asked me yesterday. Somebody said to him, that they were a believer, but they didn't believe you had to go to church. And he said, what do you think about that? I said, well, I don't condemn anybody to hell or say they're not saved. That's a one-on-one question, you know. I said, but my question to that is why? Every person is different. I said, but the real question is why would you choose not to? And mostly it comes down to not wanting to submit your time, not wanting to give to the Lord, and or it could come down to hurt.
Yeah.
You've gotten hurt at church and you haven't dealt with it, and you haven't been able to deal with that. You've gotten uncomfortable and you don't want to deal with your discomfort.
Yeah.
And so it's a personal question, but my real question is if you're not going to church and you're not in community in a church, then where are you? Because if Jesus had to be in community and the disciples had to be in community, you sure got to be in community.
Exactly.
So where is that happening in your life? Because it's got to be happening somewhere where you're being sharpened, you're growing somehow, somewhere.
Yeah.
And you've got to be listening to the word somewhere. You got to be reading. You got to be praying. The disciplines of your faith has got to be happening, whether it's in a church house or not.
Right.
I mean, because it should be happening outside of the church house, whether you're going to church or not. And so, but people want to have the goodness of God and say, I am a believer, without doing the things, the disciplines of it. It's kind of like the same thing at your gym.
Yeah.
I want to say that I'm fit and healthy, but I don't want to hurt. I don't want to do the repetitions. I don't want to walk in.
Yeah.
But I am not fit and healthy by saying I'm fit and healthy.
Yep. And I don't want to put the sugar down.
I don't want to put the sugar down. I don't want to put the sugar down.
Which I think that's balance too. Like I think we get too far on the other side where there's no enjoyment with each other because I can't have sugar.
Yeah.
Because it's my discipline. But then you've made me a cake for my birthday and I've just refused your gift. And I just can't see where that's okay.
Yeah.
Like
well, Paul said if they put it before you, eat it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just eat it.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't have to be that serious.
But you don't have to eat cake every day.
You don't.
And you don't have to eat it every meal.
Right.
So there is balance in all of that.
Exactly.
There's balance. The whole key into life is balance.
Yes, it is.
I mean, we carry things way far this way and way far that way, like rest. You need rest, but sometimes we carry it so far that we're lazy.
Right.
And then you need to work hard, but then we carry it so hard that we're making ourselves sick.
Right.
And we're excluding ourselves from our families.
Right. Or the whole self-care thing. Like self-care is important. Like you said,
yes.
You said I need that day for myself to be able to reboot and be able to, do what I do for my kids and my husband. But then these other people are carrying self-care to the whole nother level.
Where they're not caring about nobody but themselves.
Exactly. It is all about self.
Yeah.
So you're right. That balance is everything, being able to have that, and I think you can't have it without the foundation of the Lord and having that time with him first. And he'll teach you what that balance is for you.
Exactly.
Because for some people, like health-wise, like sugar, you need almost none because it's not good for you.
Yeah.
Because maybe it's a diabetic issue or whatever. But for other people,
even in that, Brian's grandmother was a diabetic and she lived to be 90-something years old. And she ate her cake.
Yeah.
She didn't eat it every day.
Right.
But holiday, she wanted her cake and she ate her piece of cake.
Right. And being able to find that whatever works for you without going in the far other way, and that moderation, and asking the Lord what that is for you. Yeah. And being able to ask the Lord how to lead you and walk in those disciplines for yourself, because I do think those are individual, and
it is very individual.
But you have to spend time with the Lord to know what those are.
Yeah.
And that's part of walking in that, being uncomfortable enough to ask the Lord, because some people don't want to know.
They don't want to know. And the labels that you get.
Yeah.
Like I've always been labeled a picky eater, and that's not the case. I just have stomach issues, and there are some things that I cannot eat.
Right.
And I would rather displease you than displease my stomach.
Right, because you're the one that has to live with that.
Exactly.
Yeah. And we're finding out that, like what we walked through with my son, he's been on an extreme diet the last 2 months to try to figure out like what he can and can't eat. And he just said that to the doctor yesterday. I'm realizing there are some things that, even though like I'm off the diet now, I'm like, oh, that doesn't feel good. So
Yeah.
he's having to figure that out, like what feels good for my body, even though other people can eat it and it feels fine,
Yeah.
and so, and he may have to be in uncomfortable situations where other people are like, oh, just go ahead and eat it, but it's not okay for him,
It's not okay.
you
And you
know.
have to be okay saying no. That goes
Right.
back to people pleasing.
Right.
Like, you can't please everybody. If
Right.
it hurts your gut, say
Yeah.
no. Like, it's just part of it.
Right. Yeah. And I definitely see that he struggles with that way more than I do. And it's hard it's hard for me to parent. I'm not gonna lie about that, because I'm just like, boy, just don't. Like, for me it's just like, stand up and go on, be bold. And he's like, but he has a harder time with it, because
Yeah.
he's a lot softer spirited than I am. And I
And a
I care.
teenager.
Yes. And I care about people. That I'm very empathetic toward people, but I am bold and loud, and I just always have been. And thankfully, some of that's balanced out, because when I was a teenager, I didn't care as much as I care now.
Well,
And
I empathy is when you feel for people,
mhm.
but compassion is when you feel for people and you get in it with them.
Yes, yeah, it's actually the action with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's one thing, and I think this is a good place to kind of close off. I was reading in the scripture, and I won't try to say the actual Greek word, but when it says Jesus was moved with compassion, the original word, it's an inner moving within your guts,
Yeah.
equivalent to you being having to run to the bathroom. That's how much, when it says Jesus was moved, it required an action that fast.
Yeah.
So it's an inner moving. When you are moved with compassion, it requires an action to go and do. And I think that's what people, they misunderstand that, and they see it the same as pity.
Yeah.
And pity does nothing.
Nothing.
But
Except for draw people into the pit.
all right, exactly. Like, oh, poor them.
Yeah.
That's so sad. Or throw a couple dollars at it.
Let's
Like,
pet that victim.
exactly, but it doesn't actually help anyone.
Yeah.
And so, like, even like what we're trying to do at this new building that we bought, like, we're trying to establish a thing that moves people from one place to another. And because that's what real compassion does. It changes a status.
Yeah.
And that's what Jesus did. He didn't leave them. Kind of like the same thing I was talking about with that video. Like, it transforms a thing. And when a thing is transformed, it's changed. Its status is changed. And how good Jesus is that he doesn't leave us in the same place that he found us.
Yeah.
But lets us have that individual identity, because me and you, we're the same girls we were when we met.
Yeah.
There's something about us that's exactly the same. I have this loud, bold personality still. You have this encourager, peacemaker personality still. We are still, people seen us be like, oh, you're still the same old April. You're still the same old Stephanie. But the Lord has sharpened us and grown us and made us better, because we've allowed those sharp edges in our life, in those places that were hard and he needed to shape. We've allowed
It's been
him.
prickly sometimes.
It's been prickly, and I'm still being shaped, girl. Those
I'm okay
grandkids,
with it,
yeah,
because whenever you stop being shaped, you got a problem.
you're done or dead.
Yeah.
It's time to
You
go.
got a big problem.
Exactly. And I do think, like, the grands help you see things differently,
Yeah,
because you do feel
definitely.
differently raising grands and seeing grands, because you see it
Oh,
through a
girl,
different
if I
eyes.
could go back to parenting after grandparenting, things would be
I
so much
know.
different.
I know. Don't you feel like you have a lot more grace?
Oh,
So much more
just
grace.
understanding,
Mm-hmm.
and the frustrations and the survival mode that you have in parenthood is just different in
Yeah.
grandparenting.
Yeah. And you just feel like you can slow things down a little bit
Yeah,
more.
yeah,
And you feel like you can observe a little bit more, because you're not
absolutely.
responsible for as much.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you're just not. And
Well, you see how important parenting is,
yes,
and the baggage or the non-baggage that you leave
yes.
with it.
Hmm. Yeah, I've had to apologize a lot.
I do too. A lot.
Yeah. I've had to apologize a lot, and I've had to ask for grace a lot for
Mhm.
where I was weak.
Yeah.
And I hope that my kids give me that grace,
Yeah.
where I was insufficient. Because, girl, me and you both, you were 19, weren't, when you started to be a mom?
Yeah. I
Me
was
too.
baby.
Me too. Me
Baby,
too.
but I thank the Lord every day for it.
I know. Me too.
Every
Me
day for
too.
it.
I tell my oldest one that he probably saved my life.
Mine did.
Yeah.
I
And
know he did.
yeah. So I'm grateful. And the Lord knew what he was doing. So thank you, April, for being with me.
Thank you.
Thank you for being my friend for so long.
It's such a treasure.
And not just thinking I
Seriously.
was just this big bully
Oh
whenever
my
we were in the
goodness.
4th grade.
You know, people say that there was bullies back in school, and I'm like, I don't remember.
I don't remember either, and I
I don't
probably
remember.
I don't know. Maybe I was one of them. Maybe that's why I don't remember. But I don't really remember. Maybe it's just because our school was so little. It just kind of felt like we were all kind of one, and it was like
We were
brothers and
just we were
sisters. And
just family, like fighting like families. Like,
yeah, it felt like that. But I didn't ever feel like it. I mean, you had some that personalities were a little bigger than others, but
yeah.
I was.
Brian says I lived in La La Land in school. I'm like, maybe I did.
Then we
I'm
all
okay with
did.
it.
Yeah, me too. It was good. But thank you for being here. Thank you for having coffee with me. I love you, and I hope we can do it again. Maybe we'll have Tina and we'll do a little,
Yes, that
all
would
of
be
us all
great.
together. So
Yeah.
thank you for coming to Boom Roasted.